I'm very excited to see how he's going to respond to the quickness of Sid Tavalaro. You mentioned that he had one of the quickest and most brutal submissions yesterday. That's can be an intimidating thing to go up against when you didn't compete yesterday and you had a lot of material to go off of, but here we go.
Yeah, it was the second fastest submission of the day. Only David Stoilescu scored a quicker submission, but look at this. Tavalaro immediately on the hunt, looking for the joint bar. And that's a good grip, and he's going after them when they're dry, Jake.
Yeah, and this is what we're talking about. Look at the aggressiveness. It's just, he's right in there trying to finish the fight as quick as possible. And he's already in on a leg. Tough to see just how good of a grip. I think he has a deep hook underneath the armpit around the knee of Gustavo Lopez.
Can't quite see the configuration of his left leg where it is, but it's just such an interesting position that Lopez is obviously in danger because he's compromised. His posture is off. Positioning seems a little bit unusual. Now we had a better look. It doesn't seem that Tavalaro's bottom leg is through. He's got his knee wedged in. But, man, this is just a clear signal that Tavalaro is wasting no time in hunting for the submission. So Lopez, now he is out and is able to start getting something going. But he's going to have to be careful, Jake. Tavalaro has traps.
And his pace doesn't slow down. You can see it right here. As soon as Gustavo re-engages, he had to spend that first little chunk of the match defending and staving off attacks, and now he's able to go back in the pocket. He's got to watch out because, look, Tavalaro fighting to get back onto that leg once again.
Nice use of the knees, maintaining a very tight knee to torso connection. Didn't allow any space for Lopez to get into a pin. Just a reminder of AIGA rules. 3 5-minute rounds. There are no points scored in the first 2 minutes of each round except for takedowns. After that, of course, points for guard passes, control will score, but a submission can end the match at any time.
Looking for that leg drag to the side, Lopez.
Now, this is the first match, of course, of today, and Checkmat against Team Finishers. Both were victorious yesterday against Team Legion, so they're both 1-1, and whoever takes this will put them through into the final, the best group, because we have a final later today. We have the final round of Group A, the final round of Group B, which will be 10th Planet versus Spy Sports, and then the winner of this versus the winner of Group B. So every match, of course, the victory, the individual victory counts for these athletes, but it contributes to the overall team victory. And look at this, Jake.
Oh, this is a deep bite on that leg as well. So you've got the standard ankle lock grip to start, but you see him already transitioning that heel hook. Oh my goodness. Kind of going towards the end of the mat.
Wow, Lopez is in trouble here. He taps.
And that's it.
Tap on the edge of the mat. In just a shade under 3 minutes. 2 minutes and 53 seconds. Outside heel hook win for Sid Tavalaro. Well, I certainly hope that Lopez is not injured. Definitely he had to fight. He rolled twice out of that and the pressure was on. I mean, it was such a tight grip. I'd love to see the replay in a moment. The leg configuration, very, very tight, and then the power grip.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Umar Marov has called a stop to this contest in the first round. For the winner by submission representing Finishers, Sid Tavalaro.
Let's take a look at this one, Jake.
Yeah, he used his hand. If you see, he cupped the heel with his right hand and pulled, and he kept it on there as well. It's like an adjusted power grip on that heel hook, and there's just so much torque. He got in on the leg so deep, and he was able to create so much leverage. And as soon as he got the leg entanglement, Hal, usually the fight is immediately to get that knee line free. People are very, very good at it, but he was so deep in it and got so much leverage right off the bat. There was just no way that Gustavo Lopez was going to have the ability to get out of there in time.
Yeah, of course, the knee line is so important, but a lot of people have become very good at heel slipping from these positions, and just that the extra grip that he had on that heel, there was no way of slipping that foot free, and that was a done deal.
Our next bout takes place in the under 83 kilogram division. Introducing first out of the red corner representing Finishers, Rene Souza.
Rene Souza coming to the mat to represent Team Finishers. Souza had a tough go yesterday. Lost a 3-round war against Bobby Winter of Legion. It was the first round 0-0, second round he lost 2-0, and the third round 0-0. It's really as narrow as could possibly be.
And introducing his opponent out of the blue corner, representing Checkmat, Francisco Lowe!
And interesting to note that Francisco Lowe also had a match with Bobby Winter yesterday, but a very different story. Scored a spectacular armbar submission in the first round. And I'm not saying, of course, jiu-jitsu math doesn't always math, does it, Jake, you know?
No, not
but
at all.
With Lowe with the submission win over Winter and Winter with a decision win, or excuse me, a points win over Souza, I mean, that could give us an idea of what to expect here. But on the left, excuse me, with the red ankle band is Souza, with the blue ankle band is Lowe.
Lowe, a very unpredictable competitor, I would say.
Yeah, just he throws up submissions from everywhere, right?
Well, it's any opening, any small opening for him is kind of a big opening, and that's something that Rene Souza, he's got a pretty tight game. He's very aware at all times, and that, I mean, part of that comes with him just having unconventional submissions of his own and being unpredictable in his own way. So hard to tell how this match is going to go stylistically, and with all things considered, it's just it's going to come down to stuff like that. Who's going to take the opportunities and actually capitalize on them?
Well, yesterday Souza was definitely playing a very leg-focused game for the first 2 rounds, and then it was the third round he switched up strategy. But Lowe, nice, look at that God pass. Now it's not going to score, but that's not such a problem when you're in control. But he's got to be wary of that, because Rene Souza, as we know, buggy choke in the world.
This.
Nice
Rene
entry on the
Souza.
inside heel hook. Beautiful recovery from bottom there from Souza.
My goodness, that was just such a quick situation. And you know what's funny is it came because of the threat of the buggy choke. He threw the buggy choke. Francisco Lowe was forced to posture up a little bit to respond, and then he got a little bit of space and spun underneath.
Yeah, this is about what we're going to try and say is that Souza is on the, you know, he was on the cutting edge of being one of the first high-level guys or notable guys to start using the buggy choke in competition. And it's a legit threat, and I think Lowe knows that, and that's why he wasn't hanging around in that position.
I think Souza from this position has to be careful to not allow Francisco Lowe to have that space that he had before. When Francisco was able to pass from the outside, he did so with relative ease. Now Rene, you see, he's starting to adjust a little bit, looking to get under the leg once again.
Got a decent grip, both hands. There he is, going for the legs. Oh, this is actually good work, but look at the position of his legs. He's actually got that kind of the legs, both legs inside of his own entanglement, which is a little unusual. We saw it yesterday, Jake, but you can attack from there.
Absolutely. And you know, one thing that he's doing really well too is that right leg of Rene Souza is very deep, so he's not in danger of a returning heel hook by Francisco Lowe in that position where you saw Francisco was looking back a little bit, almost threatening the attack.
Well, they've adjusted it a little bit now. You can see that Rene's got the outside ashi. And Lowe has very strong grips of the wrist. And at the moment, when you're early in the match and you're dry, it's kind of possible to hang on to those. It becomes less easy to grip onto those as the match goes on, right?
And you see how fast the Francisco Lowe jumped on that over-the-shoulder armbar as well. Look at this, Rene Souza looking for the heel. It's kind of shallow, not able to find a super secure bite on it. Francisco also arching a leg lock of his own.
Oh, Rene passes it for the inside heel hook. They're in 50-50 now. They are just in a straight leg lock shootout here.
Minute 40 left in round 1.
Oh, look at Lowe's going for the triangle possibly. He's trying to draw that arm in for the 50-50 armbar, which is something really, really rare in no-gi. I mean, it's rare in the gi, even more so in no-gi.
I mean, it's rare at this level as well to go for a submission like that. And it just speaks to the strength of Francisco Lowe as well. I mean, look how firm of a grip he has over the wrist of Rene, and to be able to pull him in like that, to even threaten that kind of a submission.
Very
strong.
Here we go.
Every time that Rene passes the leg over for the threat of the inside heel hook, Francisco immediately responds to it with some real urgency.
Well, he knows you can't hang out in those positions casually. You need to address the attacks, because if you don't, well, it's going to be a quick night for you.
toying with the idea of that palm-to-palm footlock. Oh, and look at
there's
this.
A good
That's an
bite on the
extension.
inside heel. Low is in trouble here.
He's got the bite on it. Low controlling the left hand. He can't afford to let that go in this position. He needs to keep a hold of that to keep his heel safe. Rene trying to arch it still with just one arm, and he's actually out of danger. 30 seconds to go to work.
The bite was a little loose. The heel was right in the crook of the elbow, and it kind of slipped out. He's going forward again here.
See, Rene is having a hard time getting the full extension over the top, too, because of the control over his wrist. If he didn't have that control over his wrist, he could grab the heel, orient it underneath his armpit, and find a better lock. And even right here, I mean, going for the one arm. Oh, and there he goes. Now he's able to find.
Two-arm grip on the bite, but Low addresses it by crossing his ankles. This is some late-stage leg lock defense right here, Jake. And this match, or excuse me, this first round of this match will end a 0-0 draw.
Round one declared a draw.
Well, 0-0, but no shortage of action in that one. I mean, we saw various threats there, principally, of course, with the leg attacks, but gotta say, just, you know, Low success with the guard pass. It was so quick earlier there. You can see he's in top position, but there, as you described, the posturing up allowed Souza to spin underneath for a leg attack.
And you saw right there, I mean, the heel just barely slipped out on that transition as well, Hal, where it looked like Rene, I mean, if he had just a little bit, an inch to the left or to the right on the leverage, he could have had a heel hook submission from basically a situation that started in bottom side control. But Rene, this was pretty much the tail of the round, is Rene looking all around for that inside heel hook and getting close. And I believe that as the match goes on, there might be an adjustment period from Francisco Low to make it a little bit more difficult. But Rene has the cardio to continue to press the action in those situations. And I do think that stylistically between these two, that's going to be Rene's path to victory, is just to continue to put Francisco Low in those situations. Francisco's not necessarily being offensive in return. He's having to be sort of defensive the entire time. So I don't think Rene has been in as much danger of a returning footlock.
Well, what I'll say is this as well, is that we know how explosive Low is, and we know that he's a submission sniper as well. You know, he's got those great flying triangles over the guard. We've seen him hit that multiple times against very high level competition, including the likes of Adam Wodzinski and Oliver Taza. You know, just to tap guys like that, incredible, absolutely no joke. So he's quick, and we saw that in the guard passes as well earlier, and I think that Souza probably knows that if it's a foot race, he's going to be at a disadvantage. Now we see Low going back for a leg lock of his own. Yeah, my prediction was that Souza would do well to slow Low down by putting him in these leg lock shootouts, these entanglements, and it takes away that speed advantage.
Yeah, you see right here, Rene seems perhaps to be a little bit more versed in the heel hook sections of the leg game. It seems like Francisco really comfortable going for the back, straight ankle lock, maybe the outside heel hook.
Or maybe just less laser focused and more open to alternatives, whereas I think Souza knows, you know, his best bet of finishing this match is probably via leg submission.
Well, we'll see. Now he's on top, looking to pass the guard of Low, something we haven't seen too much this match yet.
Souza cagey from the outside. Just over 90 seconds in.
I'm looking to sit back. Yeah, you can definitely see the game plan of Rene Souza coming into this round two is to continually engage in those leg entanglements, sitting back for a straight ankle lock once again. Oh, and that's it, Francisco Low! Gets the straight ankle lock!
Out of nowhere. It was Souza who dropped back for the leg, but Low was the one who scored the submission, and it came quick.
Ladies and gentlemen, referee Umar Manarov has called a stop to this contest in the second round. For your winner by submission, representing Checkmat, Francisco Low!
1 minute and 49 seconds into the second round. Francisco Low scored the submission, and we're going to take a look at it here, Jake.
Yeah, so it looked like Rene was the one really trying to initiate the situations, but that was as soon as Francisco Low got the bite on it. I think he just got, as soon as he wrapped it, it was just in the perfect spot to apply the ultimate leverage. And see one more look at it. Look, as soon as he wraps it up, as soon as he finds it, it's just in the perfect spot. Boom, underneath the armpit, and just gets a lot of extension. You know, I talked about it a little bit yesterday. He had the distance as well away from Rene Souza. and he was able to apply a lot of leverage because of how far he was away.
You know, I'd love to see another replay of that later, because I think it was even possibly almost like a Kyotera-style footlock with the leg over the top on the outside. We'll hopefully take a look at it later, but hey, let's keep moving here at the AIGA USA Qualifier.
Our next bout takes place in the under 76 kilogram division. Introducing first out of the red corner, representing finishers, Alan Sanchez.
Alan Sanchez had the honor of being the very first person to compete here for finishes yesterday, and in the opening match of the entire event yesterday, scored a first-round submission with a guillotine against Scott Bowler of Legion. Sanchez, a 10th Planet black belt out of the Bay Area, and here representing finishers at the AIGA USA Qualifier.
And his opponent out of the blue corner, representing Checkmat, Mateus Luna.
Mateus Luna, well, in contrast to Alan Sanchez, who scored a first-round submission, Luna had a 3-round war against Scott Bowler of Legion, and whereas Sanchez was able to finish him very quickly, Luna, he was a bit of a knockdown, drag-out scrap, wasn't it?
It absolutely was, and you know, it was a great rebound for Scott, like we were talking about. It's just, he came back after, you know, I guess a disappointing performance for him in that first round, but then in the second round, you know, Mateus, he's able to get in people's heads.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, and actually, I think Mateus welcomes that kind of match. He's the kind of guy, I'm sure he'd take a quick submission if it was offered to him, but at the same time, kind of loves just to mix it up and loves to be in the middle of that and just throwing down in grappling terms, right?
He's not an easy guy to catch in a submission, but that being said, Alan Sanchez is a crafty jiu-jitsu player.
Look at that, the half-guard sweep, wrestling up, looking for the back.
He's got one hook potentially in. Yep, he's got a hook. Now look, this
throws
lock,
the truck on.
That's a lot of leverage, Howell.
Oh, he's going to go banana split. He's going for the crotch ripper, the banana split here from the back, because the twister, of course, is illegal.
Interestingly, though, it looked for a second like he was going for a twister, even in the event. But look at this. Look at Mateus Luna just really pushing his hips down, fighting to get the truck off.
Threat of the Kimura now as well. Sanchez is throwing up all kinds of moves from here, and Luna, you know, just over 1 minute into this match, is finding himself in real trouble here. Didn't expect to see Sanchez using that really good old-fashioned half-guard work. You don't often see people using it at this high level anymore. And look at this, he used that to expose this back, and he's close to getting hooks in.
And it looked like the starting point of the twister he actually used for control to get the back, which is really impressive. He was able to kind of...
important, because twister's illegal.
Of course, yeah. If he would have gone for a twister, we might have a, you know, what almost was a Gio Martinez situation yesterday.
Yeah.
But now on the back, wow, impressive maneuvering from Alan Sanchez.
We're only 15 seconds away from points being called, and it looks like one hook is in. Yeah, the right leg hook is in. If Sanchez can set both hooks or go to a body triangle here, or even go to top, he could score points, and he does now just lock on the body triangle right as points was called. I think they're going to give him the 3 for that. No, they're not.
Yeah, Umar Maradov, referee in the center of the mat, looking at the table, and no answer.
That was right as he called points that he locked on that triangle as well. I feel like that was a little unfair for Sanchez.
It's hard to see if this is under the chin or not, Howell. I can't tell what kind of lock he has, and it looks like he's able to flatten him out. This could be trouble, and that's it!
Oh, there is the rear naked choke submission.
Whoa!
Alan Sanchez, 2 minutes 28 of the first round. Another first round submission for finishers.
Your winner by submission, representing finishers, Alan Sanchez.
Well, that makes it 2-1 for finishers so far in this series. Living up to the name, finishers with 2 first-round submissions. Let's take a look at this.
Yeah, it was hard to tell what kind of leverage Alan Sanchez had, and we were talking about the maneuvering of how he even got to the position. Unbeknownst to us, he's slowly creeping in this rear naked choke, and from this angle, it looks like it was probably on the chin, not under the chin, but as soon as he applied the leverage and flattened it out, that's just so much pressure. And man, Alan Sanchez with some really clever maneuvering. Mateus Luna is not an easy guy to set things up like that on, and he...
And no disrespect to Mateus Luna, but
no,
that match was entirely Alan Sanchez.
Yep.
Like, Mateus was caught early by the half guard entry and was unable to get one offensive move off in that entire sequence. And it's just less than 2.5 minutes, and Sanchez got the submission.
Our next bout takes place in the above 91 kilogram division. Introducing first out of the red corner, representing finishers, Alex Grandi.
Well, Alex Grandi, this is the first time we've seen him here in action at the AIGA USA Qualifier, representing finishers in the heavyweight division.
And his opponent fighting out of the blue corner, representing Checkmat, Elder Cruz.
Elder Cruz also making his first appearance here at AIGA North American Qualifiers. And I'm kind of interested to see what's going to go down here, Jake, because you've got two guys coming into this tournament completely fresh. First time we've seen either of them here this weekend and competing in this heavyweight division. Well, I mean, with 3 matches down and 2-1 in favor of finishers, a lot of pressure on Elder Cruz to get this one done for the team.
Yeah, Elder called El Monstro, but man, I feel like it's Los Monstros right now, because anybody who's seen Alex Grandi compete knows that he's a sweetheart. You talk to him in person, but man, he is capable of explosive, rough jiu-jitsu.
He's a very physical competitor, that's for sure. Something of a brute should you go head-to-head with him in the center of the mat. But speaking of the center of the mat, look at the mat control from Elder Cruz. Look at the way that he positions himself in the middle. He's making Grandi go around him. And Elder Cruz, I think it's known, but it's not often talked about, just how intelligent and effective a wrestler he is. That is definitely one of his strongest points. You know, we see him on the ground. He is, you know, just when he starts that blitz passing style, he's really a force to be reckoned with. But it's his wrestling first and foremost. That was what led him to jiu-jitsu, as a post-wrestling career switch to jiu-jitsu and grappling, and is still one of his strongest weapons in the jiu-jitsu game.
Yeah, you mentioned briefly his IQ as well. I think that when you look at his run at the 2023 IBJJF No-Gi Worlds, met Roberto Jimenez along the way, and Roberto Jimenez has a tendency to steamroll people. He just puts a pace and a consistency on people that is just so hard to keep up with, and Elder was able to stave that off, be very intelligent, even giving up positions in some senses that could have been, if with a lot of effort, it could have been advantageous for him in the match, gave it up to preserve energy, to preserve neutral, and was able to beat Roberto in that tournament. And that was, you know, anybody who saw that tournament, Roberto was absolutely on a tear, but he ran into Elder Cruz, and Elder was able to stylistically and systematically beat Roberto to the punch. And we see that in a lot of his resume as well. He has an extensive resume of high-level victories, and a lot of it is just because of how intelligent a competitor he is.
Yeah, Cruz.
Whoa.
2023.
Something you don't see a lot of, Elder Cruz pulling guard.
2023, Cruz had such a powerful year. He won the gold medal and the No-Gi American National, Pan Championship, and World Championship IBJJF tournaments. He also is a 2-time ADCC veteran, having been invited after twice placing second in the North American trials.
Oh, getting a little chippy out there.
Yeah, you can hear the Checkmat corner getting louder, and you know that's saying something, because they're already pretty loud at the best of times.
So far score 2-1 in favor of finishers.
Interesting that we haven't really seen a committed takedown attempt from either man just yet. Cagey wrestling, feeling each other out, a lot of feints, a lot of level changes, a lot of little tapping of the legs, but we've yet to see one guy really pull the trigger.
Oh, they're digging for that underhook. It looks as well, though, that Alex is throwing, again, these heavy collar ties. Elder getting a little, firing back a little bit. Definitely some heavy collar tests on either side. But Alex is throwing some pretty convincing fakes out there, and Elder's biting on them a little bit. So I wonder if in the latter part of this first round and maybe into the second round, Alex might start to try to take advantage of those bites, or if Elder Cruz is going to adjust a little bit.
And you know, there is a considerable size difference in this match as well, Jake. I mean, Alex Grandi, he weighed in at 106 kilograms, which is around about 233 pounds. It's a larger heavyweight, whereas Elder Cruz, I mean, he came in 96 kilograms, which is only 211. So there's a 20+ pound weight difference here. And Grandi definitely the much taller of the two. Sometimes being a taller competitor, it can make it hard to shoot in on your opponent because, you know, you've got just so much more distance to change levels, right?
Yeah, we saw that a little bit with Josh Saunders yesterday in his match with João. But one thing that we got to take into consideration too is, and this is true with Josh Saunders as well, is both of these competitors are explosive. So that level change, it is a long distance, of course, but they're so explosive. They're able to drop their level so quickly. I mean, you can see Grandi is getting Elder Cruz to bite on some of these, but look at this. Right towards the end of the round, double underhook. He's got it, he's got the back.
Runs him
able
down
to take it to the ground.
Turtle. If he can keep him here, that will be 2 because...
That is 2.
There it is, and in the last 30 seconds, the points go on the board. Stealing this victory right here. It was 0-0 right up until the last 30 seconds. That's good work from El Monstro.
And only 10 seconds to work. Elder's probably gonna ride this out, go into the second round with a little feather in his cap. Round 1 in the bag.
Makes sense to just watch that clock tick away the seconds. And Cruz right in front of his corner as well. That was good work.
Round 1 goes checkmat.
All right, so 2-0 in favor of El Monstro. Let's take a look at the replay, Jake.
Yeah, this is what led to that. He finally got the double underhook that he was toying with the idea and trying to set it up. Once he finally got it, just got the body lock from behind and ran down to the ground. All the way to the edge of the mat.
The silhouette of Dorian in the corner of the Checkmat team with his hand in the air calling for those two. I mean, Cruz worked hard for it, of course. You know, they want to see him rewarded for that, but...
Yeah, and Elder was starting to fight to take the back, saw the time, and that's what I mean. Not wanting to exert himself anything more than what's necessary. Probably realizes, I already have the round. I don't need to waste a bunch of energy trying to finish this fight in 15 seconds and possibly, you know, exert myself and go into this second round versus somebody like Grandi, who is an athlete as well.
Well, he cleverly scored the points in the final minute right before it gives him a chance to rest and recover for the next stanza. And we see it now. They're back for the second 5-minute round. Possible 3 5-minute rounds, of course, should there be no submission. And again, that goes back to what you were saying earlier, Jake, about the fight IQ of Elder Cruz.
Grandi sort of has a rough IQ. He knows what he needs to do to get inside of his opponent's head, and a little bit of blood on the forehead, actually, it looks like, of Grandi. That's a result of possibly some extra intense forehead clashing.
I feel like Cruz is more in the driver's seat right now. I wouldn't say he's physically pushing around Grandi, but he's definitely controlling where they are on the mat. And
you have an end of the round like
there's guard pull from Grandi. That's a switch up in tactics, and that could be smart, but it really depends because Cruz is such a great outside passer, Jake.
Yeah, he does a great job of keeping safe, and one of the trademark things that Elder Cruz does, I would say, is he keeps his legs back and his head forward, and that's why you don't see Elder Cruz get caught in too many leg situations, really at all. And he always puts intelligent frames, passing around to the side. Oh, look at this, though. Alex Grandi peeking around to the back.
You know, Cruz was in trouble for a second or a half second there, but he's hard to hold on to, isn't he, Jake?
Absolutely. And one thing that he's doing really well as well is he's always making sure to control and put the legs in a position that's comfortable for him to come forward. Posts on the knees, pushes the legs down, and it's always legs back.
Nice side-to-side passing there. The distance that he covered in that hop over the legs, he was 90 degrees perpendicular to, you know, his opponent on one side, and just one deft movement. He was on the opposite side of the body in the blink of an eye, and there he goes again.
Trying to take the back of Alex Grandi.
And we're almost into the points period here. If he can set hooks now, that will score.
All of Checkmat yells points.
Of course, our referee will always tell the competitors when points are scored, but it gets pretty loud in here. So having 6, 7, 8 guys on the side of the mat all telling you when points are active, that can help. And that's just another element of why we love the AIGA team format so much.
It's fun to watch people get real rowdy here. And Thunder Studios has it's sort of shaped to be resounding with echoing and everything like that as well. So it's extra loud in here for those who haven't been to Thunder Studios before. Yeah,
it's a nice intimate venue. As you can see, the production quality in here, though, absolutely amazing. Just looking so good. This is what we expect to see from AIGA. Now there, a little bit of aggressive hand fighting, but now look at the spin from Grandi.
Grandi almost able to find that escape, but still inside control on bottom. Cruz trying to circle around that front headlock position, back in turtle.
Back into the center of the mat. Grandi worked hard to find his way out from underneath that, and just basically ended up right in the same position. Oh, look at, he's addressing something with his foot. I hope there's not an injury here. Maybe that's a factor as to why he pulled guard as well, Jake, if there's something bothering his ankle.
It could be very interesting.
You're going to start basically in this kind of referee's position right here. That's something that Cruz will have had a lot of experience with, having had that wrestling background.
Well, like you had mentioned, finishers, we hadn't seen Alex Grandi compete yesterday. And that's because they had a different competitor in the above 91 kilogram division representing. So in the event that Grandi is unable to, let's say, in the event that finishers were to take the victory,
they have an alternate.
They would have an alternate. So not the worst scenario, of course. Not fun for the rest of this match if you're Alex Grandi, but still able to explode just fine.
Back to playing guard, and Cruz just so good at that outside passing, mixing up the directional changes. And this is what generally tends to happen, is his opponents, whether they want to or not, they end up finding themselves kind of in the turtle, whether it's front headlock position or exposing the back. But generally, Elder Cruz's passing style doesn't always put him in top position like a side control pin. Usually puts him in this kind of,
oh look at this! Oh my goodness!
They roll through.
Arms still connected.
A little loose, but that was a real threat there. And he's not letting go of it. Oh, he's trying to go Darce choke, but Grandi gets his head out. Elder Cruz, nice hard sprawl here, keeping his hips really low on the mat. Grandi building height.
Well, this could be a good situation for Alex Grandi if he's able to set that leg in.
Grandi is stuck underneath here. He's got a grip of the leg, single leg, but his head is low. With less than 10 seconds remaining, Cruz is keeping his hips low as possible and with ankle control. Well, there's the end of the round. Grandi unable to build up height from underneath. And the second round is a 0-0 draw.
Round 2 declared a draw.
Wow, I mean, even though it was 0-0, you have to say that Cruz clearly took that round if it were to be, if it ends up going to a decision. It really is obvious who took that round.
Yeah, I think that the important note for Grandi in that round is that he at least did not give up 2 rounds, and he has an opportunity in this 3rd round with some serious adjustments to possibly take this at least to a ref's decision. But one thing that's good for Elder Cruz is that it was an all Elder Cruz round. I mean, it was very little offense truly done by Grandi. A lot of the explosions were in response to him getting attacked, and Cruz just did what Cruz does, man. He passes along to the outside so well. He's able to find these big pass opportunities, and he never puts himself in too much danger. He's always framing on the hips, framing on the legs, pushing the knees to the side before he even engages the pass. Grandi slow to get to the center of the mat. Gotta wonder if that foot is bothering him a little bit. And look at the, oh my God, look at the puddle of Grandy's sweat on the ground over
so
there.
Gross. That is a huge puddle.
My goodness.
But you're right, he was slow to get to his, back to the center of the mat for the third round. He was slow to get back to his feet in the restart as well, midway through the second. I wonder if cardio is an issue or whether there is an injury bothering him. But you know, Jake, you know that cardio has never been an issue for Elder Cruz.
For neither of them really, but definitely with Elder Cruz, able to put on, I mean, 10, 15-minute matches in the ADCC rule set. Like you mentioned, ADCC veteran going against some of the best competitors in the world, such as Patrick Gaudio, for instance. And wrestling is a very tiring sport. A lot of jiu-jitsu athletes who have never participated in like a wrestling practice or have been entrenched in wrestling training, like some classic high school wrestling training, don't know how hard it is. It is terrible. It's miserable training.
It's grueling. Yeah, it really is. The level of physical conditioning that high-level wrestlers, or even average wrestlers, have is considerable, and really kind of makes jiu-jitsu guys live up to that stereotype, makes them appear lazy.
Well, if you think about what can be successful in jiu-jitsu, though, it's not the same as what has to be successful in wrestling. I would say if you are a wrestler at the highest level, physical conditioning is a gigantic part of it, just from what I can see. The ability to be able to go for an entire wrestling period against somebody who is in tip-top shape, pushing the boundaries of how in shape a human being can be. In jiu-jitsu, sometimes, let's say I can throw lapel guard and completely neutralize a wrestler.
And not use too much strength or physical attributes in the process.
Yeah.
Well, no points for that. The snap down from Elder Cruz, almost like Grandy pulling Turtle a little bit as well. There is I can even see over in the referee's corner, there was a question as to whether some referee was maybe asking the question, well, should Cruz get the points for initiating that? And one of the other referees shook his head. Because you can score from taking somebody down and holding them in the turtle position.
Elder staying active. Now backing away, resetting back in the center of the mat.
I think that's smart. I mean, Cruz, he needs the space to work, right? That's kind of his game. You know, he's the kind of guy that, as you've seen, big movements, lots of side-to-side passing there. He goes again. Look at that, walking all the way around into north-south.
Another thing.
There is nice pass.
Forcing Grandy to turtle once again.
And it's like I said earlier, a lot of the time, Cruz's passing style doesn't always put him inside control because it's a very open guard passing style. His opponents usually will turn and give the back, or they'll end up in the front headlock position. But for Cruz, that's as good as. Doesn't score, though.
Here we see, I mean, he's got one hook in, double underhooks. Another thing that I really like out of this position from Elder Cruz is he's keeping his head right up against Alex Grandy to really secure that upper body. Now looking for the back.
Yeah, Cruz is trying to set that left foot hook, but drops off completely, but still on top.
And look at Cruz, perfectly content, just going back to the side, going back to the well. He doesn't need to push the pace too hard.
No, going back to this outside passing has been working so well for him. Grandy, I would say, it's going to be very fatiguing for him to basically do a 5-minute round of playing guard recovery. You know, it's not easy against somebody as energetic as Elder Cruz. But now we see Grandy, an opportunity to wrestle up here, build height. Good sprawl from Cruz. And Grandy doesn't have hold of the leg, so even though he's building posture, gonna have to be careful of his neck.
Yeah, it looks like he might try to go for that seated katakatame again if he's able to get his right knee around the side. You can see he's really fighting for it, using that left elbow to push the arm through. 45 seconds. If Grandy has one last series of explosions in him, now would be the time.
And I'm just reminded shades of what we saw at the AIGA South American qualifiers with Dorian Olivares, that kind of passing style and attacking from the front headlocks is really, it's such an obvious telltale sign of a former wrestler moving into the grappling world. But this round is likely going to end 0-0. So a third round, sorry, of the three is another draw, but with Cruz having scored 2-0 in the opening round, a points win for Team Checkmat, and now that means it is 2 matches each in this 7-match series. We're dead even.
Your winner representing Checkmat, Elder Cruz.
2-0, 0-0, 0-0 for the points win for Elder El Monstro Cruz.
We're tied up.
Here we are, 2 matches for finishers, 2 for Checkmats. Here's a little look at some of the best action, Jake.
Yeah, big sprawl by Elder off that shot, and it looked like Alex Grandy just, after whatever happened to his foot, it didn't look like he had the same pep in his step from that point on. And one thing that's really frustrating, just the way that Elder passes, another thing that he does super well is he never takes a step back. He'll take just outside of the range and go side to side. So you're constantly feeling like you have to reach, because if you don't reach, he might go beyond what you can defend. So he's always in the pocket, just a little too far away, so that he's able to quickly do those athletic motions, quickly go and pass the guard in the way that he did several times throughout that match. His control of the distance was on full display, I think.
It really was. I hope you're enjoying this footage of the mat cleaner here at the AIGA North American Qualifiers, Jake.
I am.
Really, you know, this is the kind of thing that I'd love to see introduced as an Olympic sport.
It is. It's called curling.
It is. It really is. It's funny.
The art of sweeping.
This is the camera in the finishers corner right there, and we've got another match coming up now. We are ready to go.
Our next bout takes place in the under 60 kilogram division. In the red corner, representing finishers, Eric Naples.
First time seeing Eric Naples in action here this weekend at the AIGA North American Qualifiers. This, of course, is a 60 kilogram match. And yesterday, finishers, well, because of Legion forfeiting that match, Naples didn't get the opportunity to compete, but he's looking pretty pumped up for this now. His first time out here on the mats here this weekend.
And his opponent out of the blue corner, representing Checkmat, Igor Moreira.
Wow, big support for Igor Moreira of Checkmat. Again, didn't get the opportunity to compete yesterday because he, much like Naples, there was no match for him. So first time we've seen both of these guys in action, but there is something very important to note here, Jake, is that Moreira, representing Checkmat, he did not make weight. He came within a couple 100 grams of the 60 kilogram limit, but as he was unable to make weight by the cutoff, that means that he starts every round with a 4-point deficit, an automatic 4 points awarded to his opponent. So that's a tall mountain to climb.
Absolutely, and you know, especially in the way that this series has been going, we're 2-2 now, and I mean, this is tight. This is a very big opportunity for finishers to pull ahead and to put Checkmat in a position where they have to be perfect. And Moreira trying to do his part. I mean, he almost had a pass to the side just now. You got to think that the pressure on him to be either completely dominant or get a submission is very prevalent in this match.
Yeah, I mean, as you mentioned, 2 matches apiece. I have a feeling that this is going to be one of those series that's going to go right up until the last match is the decider. Much like we saw yesterday with Fight Sports versus Vanguard, where it was 3 matches apiece up until the final round. They basically fought up until the match was decided in the last 20 seconds of a 15-minute match. Could possibly see more of the same here today, because I have a feeling that Naples from finishers and Moreira from Checkmat, these 60 kilogram guys, unless we see something spectacular, oh, it's an interesting opportunity to drop back for the leg. Moreira is the one who initiates the leg entanglement. I'm not sure, I don't know. I just have a feeling this is going to be one of those very intricate technical matches that we may not see a finish.
Regardless, don't blink.
For sure, but it happens so much in the 60 kilogram divisions.
Pretty deep bite for Moreira.
Actually, this is pretty good. And
well, look at this.
the knee line is clear, but
Yes.
are you at all surprised to see the Checkmat representative be the one to initiate the leg entanglement here?
The lighter divisions, I feel like there's a bigger focus on the leg entanglements just across what I see in no-gi. But I think you're right. I mean, as the no-gi space continues to evolve, these quote-unquote more traditional, let's say, academies who we know as being more prevalent in the gi scene or maybe in the old ways of no-gi. Oh, look at this. Oh, my goodness.
Very unusual counterattack.
Oh, my goodness! Igor Moreira! Defies the odds and makes it happen in round one.
I am happy to be proved wrong in that one. I said that I felt that it was going to be a long match. And it was a first-round submission for the Checkmat representative.
Your winner out of the blue corner representing Checkmat, Igor Moreira.
They were in a leg lock shootout, and it was Moreira who initiated. Naples was the one who kind of started looking for an attack, and then Moreira scored the actual finish. Here it is, Jake.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's hard to see what... Man, it's hard to see what Eric Naples was looking for in his own way, but Igor Moreira had that look. He had the power grip, and that is just it goes to show if you're able on the outside heel hook to reach that other arm.
Naples went for the inside heel hook, but without adequate control of the leg, and you can see the difference in positioning.
Oh,
that he didn't have control of the leg itself. It was on the outside of his body. His legs were on the opposite side. And of course, with that Ashigarami style control, Moreira was able to force this tap.
Our next bout takes place in the under 65 kilogram division. Introducing first out of the red corner representing finishers, Isaac Cordova.
Cordova coming to the mat. We saw him in action yesterday. Put his opponent to sleep on the buzzer at the very end of the first round yesterday, Jake. Powerful arm triangle control. A lot of pressure on him here because he needs to win this match for finishers to remain in the game. If Checkmat can take this one, then they will advance.
And his opponent in the blue corner, representing Checkmat, Michael Esquivia.
Esquivas had a 3-round war yesterday with Dudang of Legion. Saw him win that one on points. He was the last representative for Checkmat to compete yesterday. And that was a really tough scrap. So we've got two very different figures here. Cordova, living up to the name of the team, a finisher, a submission hunter. Esquivas. Yep, well, we saw so much from him yesterday. We saw top, we saw bottom, we saw wrestling, we saw submission attacks. We saw this, we saw plenty of inversions.
Michael in his match yesterday, yes, it was a war, it was a scrap, but on several occasions in his match with Tudong, he had opportunities to potentially pass, take the back, very aggressive. Cordova did get the submission, but make no mistake, Michael Esquivias is a dangerous competitor. And you know what? It all really does come down to this for finishers. Their back is against the wall. Checkmat needs one more victory. Finishers needs 2.
Yeah, Finishers needs to win 2 matches in a row to win the overall series. Should Checkmat take this one, that will place them into the finals against, well, we'll wait and see, because based on how the other group has been going, could potentially be Vanguard, Fight Sports, or 10th Planet. We really are not sure yet.
Esquivias trying to pull that leg through for the inside heel hook look. Great job of inverting. He does that inversion very well. Sets up leg entanglements, possible back exposure. Neither of them able to get a real solid foundation for the leg entry, but Cordova seems like he got the inklings of one started.
Yeah, such a shame yesterday that Legion, due to accumulated injuries and absences, that they were only able to field 4 competitors for their series against Checkmat yesterday, and all 4 of those were defeated. So technically a clean sweep for Checkmat. They had three wins by points and 1 by submission. Vanguard yesterday, excuse me, finishers yesterday, they had 4 wins against Legion's 3. One of those, of course, was a forfeit, so they had 3 actual victories in the matches, and all of them were by submission. And we may see another one here. Look at this. This is Checkmat going high.
Cordova was able to get that sweep, so 2-0 in favor of the finishers representative now.
Yeah, it looked like the Checkmat rep, Esquivas, kind of had or fell into like an all-platter triangle kind of attack, but giving up points in the process.
Lucas Leite in the corner calling for more inversions out of Michael Esquivias.
I love seeing Lucas Leite here in the corner of Team Checkmat. He couldn't make it yesterday, but he's here today, making sure that the guys are, you know, on top of things, because you need a strong, experienced mind in the corner, because there is so much nuance and so much strategy going on here at the AIGA Team Championships. It's we saw it as well. Eddie Bravo has been strategizing all weekend. Jason Rao, Roberto Cyborg is here. It's they understand the stakes at play here.
Yeah, and another thing, Hal, I would say that it's morale boosting to have one of the most prolific names out of Checkmat here with you. It can really elevate the mood of the team. Like, you want to do well because your leader's here, and that's, you know, I think that morale has a lot to do with performance and competition as well. Look at this deep bite for Esquivias.
Toe hold attack,
forcing Cordova to roll out of danger.
Oh, we could see a single now.
Whoa! Beautiful Uchimata from Isaac Cordova.
Oh, that had everybody on the sidelines out of their feet. Lucas Leite, now Monstro, Zach Naminsky from finishers. That was a highlight reel counter for sure. I mean, Esquivas was in pursuit of that wrestling style reversal, and Cordova was having none of it. He really wants to hang on to that points lead.
It's one of those moments that makes you think, this is AIGA. The stakes are high.
The stakes are so high. Of course, the winning team that emerges from the USA Qualifier will go through into the 2025 Champions League, where there is $1 million prize fund and a $500,000 prize for the winning team. So much on the line here for both Checkmat and finishers.
One thing I'm liking to see out of Cordova as this round ends is hasn't really put himself in a spot where it's dangerous to be swept from. And now going into round 2 and 3, he's up in round 1. If he's able to stay safe and not get scored on for the remainder of the match, could put finishers in a great spot.
Round 1 goes to finishers.
Here we go. Highlights reel of some of the action. There was the toe holds that forced a really strong reaction from Cordova. He rolled once, twice, and then he came up for the wrestle up, and you'll see this beautiful Uchimata counter, flipping Esquivas back down to the mat. What a sequence from both men. And that was a hard fought, there it is again, look at that. The speed of the turn from the throw.
And the throw was just to get him off of him. That's what was so beautiful about it, is like, it wasn't even really to take the match to the ground, or what you might think a judo throw would be for. He just wanted to stop the situation from happening.
Can you believe that with all that action, that round ended only 2-0 in favor of Cordova? So finishers with a points lead coming into this second round now, and there's a very quick pull from Esquivas.
That's the under 65 kilogram division for you. So much activity. Neither of them even breathing heavy after a really intense round. Cordova sitting back, Looked like he had just momentarily a bite on the leg. Skevius quick to get his leg out of there, and now, oh, in deeper now. But Michael even using his hand on, you see how pushing both hands on the knee to clear his knee out of there.
Yeah, I like the way that Cordova kind of slid his hips forward. But now that the opportunity for the leg lock is gone, coming up into this passing position. Now, that's one thing we didn't see that much of in that first round, Jake. We didn't see a great deal of guard passing action. Saw a lot more of the entanglements and such.
Little block on the hip by Cordova. Cordova always throwing these head control grips, or sorry, these ankle control grips, just to threaten the footlock going backwards potentially. And now Skevius looking to get in on a leg again. Remember, it's 1 round in the bag for Isaac Cordova. It's one thing about AIGA rather, is the live scoring. It's no mystery who is ahead in the match. And that plays into the game plan of Michael Esquivias moving forward, who now almost 2 minutes elapsed. Has to find a way to either prevent Cordova from scoring again or win this round himself.
Cordova seems really keen to try and draw one of the legs into an entanglement, but I feel like that was a tactical mistake here, because allowing Esquivias
look
to
at
come up on him.
this!
Wow, okay.
Oh, and possibly on the back!
I take that back, because
Cordova!
it looked like he allowed the reversal there for Esquivias, but how on earth has Cordova managed to reverse this into the mount?
Wow, beautiful. It almost looked like a tornado sweep, Hal.
Beautiful movement, absolutely beautiful movement. I'm wondering whether that should have been called a clean sweep, Jake. You know, the 2-point reversal directly into the mount here. But at 2 points it is. So now Cordova is very much in the driver's seats here.
Now Michael pushing on the hips, getting his knees back in front of him. 2-0 for Cordova. Oh, but look at this!
Nice escape.
2 points.
Yeah, that should be 2. It is. It's now even. After coming out from a really tough position, Esquivias has evened the score with 1 minute, 45 seconds remaining.
My goodness. One thing I will say is it seems like Isaac Cordova is able to, oh my gosh, I can't even talk about his guard because so much stuff is happening on the feet.
Yeah, he came up for that single leg. They're both on their feet, and Cordova shoots now.
That's going to be a takedown for Isaac Cordova.
It will. Esquivias tried to possibly jump into a leg entanglement maybe, but as the takedown was initiated by Cordova, that's going to make this 4-2. Wow, a lot of action in this round here.
I was just going to say how it seems like Isaac Cordova is able to make things happen from his back a little bit more effectively in this specific matchup than Michael Esquivias. Now up by 2, 1 minute left. Takes a little bit longer for Michael to find those connections to make a sweep happen.
Got 45 seconds remaining on this clock here now. Cordova outside passing, double ankle control. I think smart to, well, he enters now, but I think almost smart to maintain a little bit of distance now, going double underpass here. And it's still putting on the pressure.
Oh, look at this, TP choke.
Oh!
TP choke.
With 20 seconds remaining, may not be enough time for him to score that, but...
Oh my goodness! Isaac Cordova not moving from this position, 10 seconds.
The clock is ticking here, 5 seconds remaining.
Oh, wow.
The lock breaks, and Cordova starts running around again. And everybody, Jay, everybody was on their feet to see whether Cordova was going to go out from that move there.
Yeah, a little bit of a gasp of relief even from some of finishers there.
Round 2 goes to finishers.
Wow, this highlight reel. I mean, that whole round was a highlight reel. We'll show some of the best moments, but I just think so ironic that Cordova won his match yesterday by putting his opponent to sleep on the buzzer. And it really looked there for a moment like everybody thought we'd see a repeat, but in the opposite direction, because Esquivias threw up that TP choke from bottom, had it locked on, and Cordova was, as you say, motionless, but was just biding his time to escape from the lock. And here is that second 2 points that was so decisive, because after Esquivias had evened the score, Cordova was able to get back in the lead, ending that one 4-2. And everything comes down now to this third and final round.
Here we go.
So Cordova has a 2-round lead. So even if Esquivias is to win this one by points, well, Cordova will still be the winner. Esquivias' only chance of winning this match is by submission now.
Good sprawl from Cordova.
Oh, nice work in catching the head here from Esquivias from bottom, but Cordova manages to put him back down, back on the mat.
In this situation, in this third round, the clock is Isaac Cordova's friend. If he can continue to just pass and move to the side and work down the clock, of course, I'm not advocating for him to not go out there and try to finish the fight, but if you're thinking strategically, 1 minute has already elapsed in this round, 4 minutes left. If he can continue to keep safe from what I imagine is going to be an absolute blitz from Michael Esquivias for this entire round, he'll be able to take it to a tie-breaking round. Oh my goodness!
Inside heel hook. Inside heel hook there. Cordova looking for the submission now. Oh, just slips out. I think this is just a factor of so deep into this match, Jake. You know, the sweat, the slipperiness. Esquivias was able to just slip out of that, but it looked like a very, very deep inside heel hook.
And you could see as well, he understood that if he were to apply that other arm and use it to assist with the heel hook, then he might have been able to get more leverage. But as soon as he came to that realization, Michael Esquivias took advantage of the breaking connection. That's Esquivias on top.
I love that little foot sweep.
That was interesting.
From Cordova. Definitely had Esquivias thinking. So we're into the points period now. Just a reminder that even if Esquivias is able to score, it's not going to be enough to win the match outright. He will need to submit his opponent to get the win for his team. And every win really does count here. Such an effective use of that little foot sweep. It really just takes your opponent out of his game, huh?
Well, it's something that's not really expected. You don't expect somebody to try to trip your foot from seated guard.
Oh,
so you're
nice
not really...
use of the attack of the foot sweep to basically take his opponent down, and that's 2. Getting a little reckless, though, is Cordova. He needs to stay disciplined here. He's got less than 2 minutes remaining, Jake. Can't afford to take too many risks.
No, if he continues to push forward and gets caught in some sort of a leg entanglement or some sort of a submission, he's going to be kicking himself for sure. He has the opportunity in these next minute. And oh my goodness!
Oh, there was a straight knee bar there. Lucas Leitch is running onto the mat. He's saying that Cordova tapped. Lucas Leitch is absolutely, there are scenes in the corner here. He's saying to us, he's saying to the referees, he's saying to everybody he tapped.
As if we have any control over whether the match.
Lucas Leitch literally slid onto the mat and then slid back off again. He was out of his chair. And that knee bar definitely looked on there for a second, but I have to see a replay to see whether there was a tap of any sort, but...
That could have been Michael Esquivias' final opportunity. We'll have to see 50 seconds. If he's got 1 more or 2 more in the bag, he's got to pull it out right now, because it's now or never. Otherwise, it'll be 3 rounds to 0 for finishers, and we move on to the final bracket, the final match, I mean, between Jake Coleman and Dory Aoun. Look at this. Isaac Cordova still finding opportunities to pass here at the end. Very intelligent with that right arm underhook, but wanting to go back into the leg entanglement. Very interesting.
Really slow. Wow, this is scrappy. Look at that aggressive collar ties there from Cordova in the scramble. Nice shot from Esquivias, but great defense here from Cordova, and he's on the neck, Jake. Uses it to reverse position.
We're going down to the final frame, Hal.
They are fighting till the very last second. That is it. The match is done. 3 rounds scored to Cordova. 2-0, 4-2, 2-0.
Your winner representing finishers, Isaac Cordova.
Well, we'll take a look at the replay of that knee bar to see whether he tapped or not, Jake. I'm really curious because Lucas Leitch and the Checkmat guys, they were convinced that he tapped. Let's take a look. What do you think?
Well, let's see. Spun underneath. Cordova gets his right arm out of there. And as soon as Michael Esquivias is able to find the extension, look, he pulls his hip into the leg. Actually, the arm was caught in there. Oh, the arm went back. Maybe it looked like he went back to make a grip, but I'm not convinced that it looked exactly like a tap. I mean,
yeah,
it was definitely like a pat. I would say it was a pat.
It was a tap, it was a slap, but you know, you need, if you're gonna submit, you need to tap multiple times, make it clear, and that one slap is not enough. That hand sometimes, it can look like a tap.
It wasn't even a Chael Sonnen tap.
It wasn't. No, Lucas Leitch was convinced that that was a tap. All right, final match in this series now.
Ladies and gentlemen, the score is 3-3. It all comes down to this. Introducing first, out of the red corner, representing finishers, Jake Coleman.
First time we're seeing Jake Coleman in action here in this 91-kilogram division. He did not compete yesterday in the first round against Legion.
And his opponent in the blue corner, representing Checkmat, Dory Aoun.
Dory Aoun of Checkmat coming to the mat now in this 91-kilogram division. And the entire Checkmat team were out of their seats to welcome their representative to the mat. And this is it. This, as you said, it all comes down to this, Jake. This is a crucial match here now because this is the decider. We are dead even. There is 3 matches each in this 7-match series. That means that the winner of this one, whether it's Jake Coleman of finishers or Dory Aoun of Checkmat, whoever wins this match will win it for their team. And then finishers or Checkmat, well, we'll find out who goes through into the final from Group A.
My heart is beating right now, Hal.
Didn't see Dory Aoun in action yesterday either because he was due to compete against Adam Bradley of Legion. Bradley was injured and had to forfeit. So the first time we're seeing Aoun in action, and as we said, Coleman. One of the great things about AIGA is that you can have multiple competitors on your squad, and you can switch them out depending on who you're going against. Having multiple alternates, let's say. Coleman's first time here on the mat, and nice work in getting the underhook there. You hear the Checkmat team, they're so expressive in their support of their teammates, aren't they, Jake?
Absolutely. And Dory Aoun, I mean, he's competed all around in the IBJJF circuit. He's such a great guy. He's quickly become, I would say, for those who are following along with his career, it's easy to like Dory Aoun. And Man, Checkmat, I mean, and that's another thing about having Lucas Leite here is you think Checkmat was loud yesterday. Oh, they're going to get loud today for sure.
I even see that Leo Vieira, Checkmat co-founder, is in the house actually watching from the sidelines. He's left Lucas to take on the coaching responsibilities here today, but Leo, of course, with Checkmat HQ just down the road there in Signal Hill, California, coming here to see how his crew are going to do here at the AIGA USA Qualifier. He was actually in Wisconsin yesterday for a seminar and flew in and came straight here to watch the qualifiers.
Oh, Dory with a double under, immediately looking to take the back here.
That was quick.
Trying to get, he's got the seatbelt connected. This could be good for Checkmat.
And you were right, Jake, that a lot of the noise coming from the Checkmat corner is initiated by Lucas Leite. They're so loud.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, looking for the rear naked. It's on the face.
This could be trouble.
Huge crank there on the neck. Checkmat moments away from taking this.
Jake Coleman has 2 minutes and 5 seconds to survive.
How on earth did he get out of that? But he's not out of trouble yet. Dorian still very much in control here. But that rear naked, that was very tight there, Jake.
Jake Coleman understands it all rests on his shoulders, this fight. He can't afford to give up easy. Now front headlock for Aum. Possibly looking to take the back again.
And you know, we would be remiss if we didn't say that, of course, that in the midst of all that action, Dorian did put 3 points on the board as well.
Looking to put another 3.
I was going to say he could potentially score again because he's still very much in control, but he's also looking for the neck. But there now, Coleman is back to a somewhat safer position.
That's another one of the things about the AIGA rule set. A round like this, if it were 1 5-minute round, Dorian is taking the victory. But let's say Jake Coleman's able to survive for another minute. He goes to the second round. It's a fresh start. Yes, he's down 1 round, but he gets to reassess, have a new game plan going in, adjust, deal with the passing pressure of Dorian. He's so good at this double under, going side to side, and he's fresh. That's another thing that you had mentioned too, Hal, is he is fresh coming into this bracket. And I'm not sure, I don't know that Jake Coleman competed yesterday.
He didn't.
You're right, it was Connor Dixon, wasn't it?
He was, correct, yeah. So both guys first time here, and wow, look at Aum is just, I don't know, maybe this is the hometown advantage, Jake, because of course with Coleman coming in from East Coast and Dorian basically probably within about 20 minutes, half an hour drive here. That helps, right? Sleeping in your own bed at night and when you're competing. Oh, look at that, another opportunity to pass here.
That is very true. Being able to sleep in your own bed does, it sounds like it wouldn't play as much of a difference, but it does. Round 1 goes to Checkmat.
Round 1 goes to Checkmat.
3 points to 0 for Dorian of Checkmat.
Yeah, it was this double under pass directly. I mean, double under forces Jake Coleman to turtle, and then Dory just took full advantage of that to get the 3 points. Good on Jake Coleman, though. We have to keep in mind, it was very important that Jake Coleman did not succumb to that cross-faced rear naked choke, because that was tight. That would, I'm sure, for a lot of people, that would make them tap. But Jake Coleman understands the stakes, understands, nope, I can't go out like that. Survives until round 2, and in just 10 seconds, we'll see what adjustments the finisher's corner. And look, Jake Coleman looks fired up going into the second round. Sid Tavallaro fired up in the corner of finishers as well for his under 91 kilogram division teammate.
I think he needs to get fired up for this second round because there's so much at stake here in this match, and there's a nice pickup of the single from Dorian, but Coleman legs out. But there's so much at stake. This series between Checkmat and finishers will be decided based on the result of this match right here.
Heavy collar ties by Coleman.
I feel like Coleman, now that he's weathered the storm of that first round, he survived some really difficult positions. He's managed to kind of, you know, blow out the cobwebs, right? Maybe he came in here a little bit cold. We're not sure. Maybe he's the last match as well of the, you know, the Checkmat versus finishers. He's been sat on the sidelines for 6 matches in a row watching his teammates compete. Maybe he got cold. Maybe he just wasn't warm. But he came in here now, Jake. And, you know, he's had that adrenaline dump, and he's got a second go at it.
Interesting if this was a part of the game plan for the finisher's corner to spend a little bit more time on the feet. As soon as I say that. And Dorian, look, putting the passing pressure on yet again. Cordova looking to create some sort of a connection. Gets a lock and half guard, transitions to the deep half guard.
Owen's got a really nice underhook on that far side. And he looks really close to passing here, but if he does, Jake, it won't score because they're not in the points period just yet. Nice recovery.
Disengages.
Yeah, Coleman got a very, very shallow half guard here.
From this position, like, he's gonna need to use that right knee to knee bump, force Dorian to post, like you see him trying to do there. But Dory's just got that firm connection. Coleman getting in on the leg. This is the first real offensive maneuver of Jake Coleman this round, and this is another area where Dorian shines. This over-under, just this real old school over-under, double-under combo. He's very good at it. It's one of the things that drove him to success. He got a 80cc Tijuana Open, bronze medal in his division, absolute finals winner in that tournament. And that was a grueling tournament. It was like 96 degrees inside of the arena. It was grueling. Getting there was difficult for each competitor.
About halfway through this first round, just 2 minutes 20 remaining on this clock, excuse me, second round. And very different to the first round, Jake, in that Owen had that success early in the first 5-minute period, was able to score. And right now his guard passing pressure has been consistent, but he hasn't quite found that opening. Maybe this is different because he's got that near side. Oh, now he's got double underhooks.
A lot of freedom for Dorian here. If he keeps his chest-to-chest connection, digging his chin into the shoulder, he can bring his right knee to pass conventionally to the side control. With the double unders, you also have the ability with patience to bring, he can inch his right foot up toward the butt and transition even into the mount, the 3/4 mount. This is a much better round for Jake Coleman.
Yeah, even though it's 0-0, you're right, it is better. He's had a feel of what Owen is capable of. He's felt the main moves, right? He's felt that guard passing pressure, and he definitely looks a lot more comfortable in the face of Owen's aggression. And yet, he hasn't really been able to offer up any substantial attacks of his own just yet.
Well, we talked about it with Elder Cruz a little bit, how, you know, Elder is able to pass side to side with this head forward, leg back sort of style. That's what Dorian's doing as well, and it's really good. You can see that Jake Coleman, he wants to get under leg. He's trying to initiate the leg attacks, but when the legs are so far away, it's just difficult to get anything like that going. You have to adopt that. That's where a lot of people do the upstairs, downstairs, sort of attack the arms to open the legs.
Look at this stack here from Owen. Owen is putting a lot of forward pressure on now. He managed to get double under scoop grips, and he could be close to passing here. He's forced the turtle, and there is nice recovery from Coleman.
Yeah, beautiful
in going
recovery
through to the half guard. Owen is really relentless in his passing pressure. And when you're putting that pressure on, Jake, it puts your opponent in an interesting position because there is, of course, always opportunity to counterattack. But Owen hasn't given Coleman any openings whatsoever, and there is...
look at this Von Flue choke.
A last-second guard pass, I believe, for Dorian.
Oh, but the submission was locked on, so I wonder if that prevented.
Was it a real submission, or was it just a wrap of the head? Didn't look like a guillotine to me. But yeah, they're going to score that 0-0 that round.
Round 2 declared a draw.
I feel that was a little tough. I feel like Owen was maybe denied 3 points for the pass there in that last couple seconds of the second round. But like I'm saying here, this pressure that he's been putting on,
it's real old school, right? It's just double under, over under, and Dory does a good job of mixing up both. Fittingly, similar style, Elder Cruz giving Dory advice in the corner.
well, similar in the sense that he's in and out, and he disengages when he feels he needs to go back to a safe position. But in terms of the actual techniques they use to pass the guard, very different, because Elder Cruz really on the outside, very explosive. And as you said, Owen really relies on getting that connection, right? He loves a single underhook, double underhook of the legs and pressuring forward, just like a bulldozer.
I would agree with those. I would agree with that analysis. Oh, look at this immediate
dropping
single.
for a leg. Again. Nah, it's going to be 2 points here for Owen. Manages to finish that second single leg takedown, forcing to turtle. This is a scoring position, and an early 2 points is going to go a long way in this match, Jake.
Yeah, it's a tough start for Jake Coleman to start the third round. Not even 30 seconds have transpired. And Dory Allen is looking to take the back.
This is very similar to as we saw in the first round, Jake.
And just Dory's ability to start the match like that, that was a very smart move. I think he realized Jake might expect me to coast a little bit, but he goes out there and he just puts the pressure on from the get-go. And now, man, Jake Coleman has his back sort of against the wall.
Yeah, we got front headlock position here from Dorion on top, making sure that his legs are out of any danger of getting caught in a single leg. We see an attempt at a sit out, but pulls guard does Jake Coleman, and I think that we're going to see more of what we saw in the second round. Owen's going to probably keep that pressure on. Oh, false sweep attempt,
false
though.
sweep.
Yeah, this is dangerous. This is not bad for Coleman, actually. He's got a decent grip.
Yeah, this is an opportunity for Coleman if he's able to find a solid leg entanglement.
A little loose on the inversion there from the false sweep, and we're seeing his leg's not free, though.
Yeah, Dory entertained the idea of exchanging heel hooks with him, and that sort of did re-engage him in this leg lock fight, but Dory Allen doing a great job clearing the legs.
Nearly clears it into a guard pass, but Coleman manages to sort of recover the half guard position, but not really an attacking half guard, very much a hanging on for dear life half guard.
Well, Checkmat firmly in the driver's seat. 3 minutes to go.
Just a reminder that this, of course, 7-match series. It is 3 apiece, 3 for finishers, 3 for checkmats. And look at the back take here from Owen, hopping over the top. He's got like a kind of a back ride position here. Sets one hook. Got a seatbelt as well, Jake. Over the top now. Oh, he's looking for that seated katakatami.
Oh, this could be trouble.
Anaconda.
And now, yep.
Anaconda choke. This looks tight.
Jake Coleman,
he's
trying to survive.
The hips around.
Dory Allen has to readjust, and Coleman now back up to the feet, trying to go around to Dory Allen's back and take Dory Allen down. Oh my goodness! Coleman.
Beautiful reversal there from Jake Coleman. He manages to use the dummy drag from the Anaconda choke. Comes up onto the back now, and for the first time, had an opportunity to try and attack, but Owen manages to fall on top in that sequence. I think that was Coleman's best chance here in this match, Jake, and I feel it may have slipped through his fingers.
We'll have to see. I think the best thing Jake Coleman can do right now is use that as a vote of confidence and just to blow the entire gas tank right now. He's got to go with whatever he has left and put the pace on Dory. Because now, if there's any time that Dory Allen would coast, it's now with the 1 minute and 30 seconds left. And on a single leg.
Owen thought about looking for a Kimura. Instead, he spins around and he's into the back ride position once again. Coleman has, well, he's looking up at the clock. I think a little frustrated. He finds himself in this position once again. It's very much deja vu. He's tried everything from here, and as you said, Owen can kind of afford to cruise a little bit here, Jake. He's so much in control. 1 round in the bag. Second round was a draw, ahead on points in this final minute of the third round. And Owen can just afford to control his opponent and break him down. There, sets a near side hook.
Dory looking for The rear naked choke as he puts that second hook in. Coleman sits out, possibly gonna get put in mount here. Not
30
quite.
seconds remaining now in this final minute of this final match between Checkmat, and they are on their feet. They are celebrating. You can hear them here. 20 seconds left. Checkmat, they know that this is in the bag. They're gonna go through into the final from Group A. A final takedown with just seconds remaining. 5 seconds left. Dorian almost walked off, ready to celebrate, but the job's not done. Now it's over. And that's it here. Checkmat are the winners against team finishers.
Your winner representing Checkmat, Dorian.
3 points to 0. Second round, 0-0 draw. And the third round was 2-0 for Dorian of Checkmat, who secures the victory and assures their participation in the final later today. Well, we will call
We now invite both teams to the center of the mat for the official decision.
Yeah, we'll call them on and make this official. But here's the highlight from that final round of that final match. And Dorian, he just so smart in scoring those 2 points so early. It was within the first 15 seconds that he got that single leg and put his opponent down. And then from then, he didn't let off the gas. He managed to stay in control throughout. And multiple attacks, including this, what looked to be pretty deep anaconda choke. And there was that dummy drag counter. This was Coleman's only chance at trying to get it back, but we'll bring the two teams onto the mat and make this official.
Ladies and gentlemen, your winner by a score of 4-3 out of the blue corner, Team Checkmat. Athletes, you may now shake hands.
Hey, much respect, guys.